Hello there, welcome to Neo-Pagan November, day 10. Today's prompt is Spellcraft, and this is Neo-Pagan November is a challenge started by Brittany the Sunshine State Witch. If you find her here on YouTube, you can join the challenge. It's not too late. And it's really fun because you get to make a video every day and challenge yourself to figure out what to talk about with the prompts. So I'm really having a fun time doing this. I'm having a fun time watching other people, other creators here on YouTube put out their creations, and it's really nice to meet new people here on YouTube. So today's prompt is Spellcraft, and I know it sounds strange, but I actually had to look up the definition of spellcraft because I thought that spellcrafting was the art of coming up with the actual incantation, the actual spell, and making it rhyme, making something that rhymes for your spell as your incantation. But from what I'm understanding from the other videos I'm watching, it's actually just the whole process of creating a spell. So I'll have been a witch now for almost 3 years. In February 14, 2023, it'll be 3 years and a day that I've been actually practicing as a witch and decided to call myself a witch. And so it was really important to me when I became a witch, when I decided I was going to be calling myself a witch and traveling on my witch's path. It was really important for me to create a spell. And if I can remember correctly, the first spell I created was a spell. It was actually an initiation spell. And the reason why I say it was an initiation spell is because it started with me grounding, calling in the quarters, calling in my deities, casting a protective magic circle, and calling in the god and the goddess and consecrating myself to them. And maybe it's not really a spell because it wasn't like I was trying to bring anything into my life, but I guess I was trying to bring in the god and the goddess, and I was trying to welcome them into my life. So, you know, I'm sure you've heard this before, that spell is in the word spelling. Spell is in the word spelling. So when you talk about spells, you talk about the words that you use to create what you want to manifest. But a spell is actually a lot more than that. A spell has a lot to do with your intention and what you want to do. And it's also, a spell is the magic that you do, the magic that you practice. A spell can be super elaborate, or a spell can be super simple. A spell can be as simple as putting, like, I bought cedarwood oil, and I take that cedarwood oil that I actually used to make candles that didn't work out. Now I use that cedarwood oil and I anoint myself with the cedarwood oil because cedarwood is good for protection. So I'll take a dab of the cedarwood oil on my finger and I'll put it on my chest and I'll say, by earth, by air, by fire, by water, by spirit, I am protected. I am physically protected. I am mentally protected. I'm emotionally protected. I am psychologically protected. I am protected in all ways, shapes, and form by the power of the goddess and the god of power of earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, by my power. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. So that is a spell for protection. And I didn't have to call in the quarters, even though I said earth, air, fire, water, spirit. I didn't call in north, south, east, west. I didn't cast a protective circle around me. But I did do the pentacle on my chest, which is a protective symbol. But you don't have to know everything about witchcraft or magic to create spells and to create magic and to create spellcraft and witchcraft. you just have to have the intention. I remember before I even became a witch, I was having a hard time with my mother, and my intention, I don't know what my intention was, but I wanted to exert some sort of control over the situation. So I took a blue piece of yarn, and I put the blue piece of yarn under my mother's pillow. And later on that afternoon, my mother came out of her room all dressed in blue. And that was a confirmation with me that I had done something to exert control over the situation, because I had put this blue yarn under her pillow and she came out wearing all blue. It's because I had intended to control the situation, that was the outcome. And I didn't know that was a spell. I didn't know I was doing witchcraft. I didn't know that was magic. But now looking back, I realize that I had intended that, because I knew something was going to come out of it. And I knew that when I saw the results, I knew that it was me that had caused those results. So I was growing, in my magic. And I remember another time I performed a spell and I didn't even know it was a spell, where I lit a candle that I had bought at Bath and Body Works, and I had put some crystals around the candle, and I had said something, an incantation. It didn't rhyme, but it was for a specific purpose. And when I had finished saying that, I blew out the candle. And the spell was intended to, I'm not going to say exactly what it was for, because I don't want people to know, but it was intended to stop something. It was intended to put an end to something. And so I blew out the candle, and that was to symbolize the life of this. It wasn't of a human being. It was to symbolize the life of this entity, not a human being, not an animal, nothing living, just like a corporation. It was to symbolize the end of this corporation, and that's why I blew out the candle. And looking back, I realized that was witchcraft. That was me performing witchcraft. Now, that specific spell didn't work. Of course, it's hard to go against a corporation, but whether you see it as it worked or not, that's not really, yes, the purpose is you want it to work, but if it doesn't work, it could be that there's something better for you there. And there's a greater purpose behind it, and you don't know maybe what the purpose is, and you don't see it yet, but really the universe knew what was best for you. I also did another spell where it was a 5-day spell, and it was to get some money back from somebody, and I did it for 5 days in the day. I followed some guidelines from a book, but I changed it to suit myself, and it didn't work either. And that was one of the first spells I did as a witch, and I was really disappointed, and I questioned if spells actually worked. Now, I know this might be a long video, but when I actually decided to become a witch, I researched what I needed on my altar. You don't need anything on your altar. I did this candle spell. I did the yarn spell. A spell can be also as simple as washing your face, and I wash my face with rose quartz face wash. And when I remember to do that, I say, I love myself, I am loved, I am beautiful. Everything that has to do with the energy of the rose quartz, I am attractive, I am special, I am powerful. So I'll wash my face with the rose quartz face wash, and I'll say that. When I'm taking a shower, I'll thank my body parts. I'll thank you, arms, for helping me pull up the patients today. Thank you, feet, for helping me to run today. Thank you, legs, for helping me walk today. And that raises my vibration. And spells work on energy, right? When you're doing a spell, you're working with the energy of the moon, the energy of the herbs, the energy of the crystals, the energy of the candle, the energy of the incense, the energy of your intention, the energy of your gods and goddesses, the energy of the elements. the energy of the moon, the timing, you're working with all these different things, and you're pulling on the energy. You're hoping to work on the energy around you so that things will flow in your direction. So when you're saying an affirmation, when you're saying I'm beautiful, I'm powerful, I'm safe, I'm strong, I'm protected, you're raising your vibrations, you're raising your frequency, you're raising your self-esteem. And that is playing with the energy. That's playing with your energy. That's playing with the energy of the room around you. That's playing with when you're saying hi to people in a room, when you're saying, wow, I really like what you're wearing today, or I like how you did your makeup today, you look beautiful today, how are you doing today? You're raising the energy in the room with positivity, because you're being friendly. And that's raising the frequency of the energy in the room. So you're using your words and you're crafting a certain type of energy. So you're spell crafting, you see? So whether you say you're a lazy witch and you don't do spells, whatever your intention is in your life, that is you creating your life. When you are creating results in your life, you are using your energy to bring certain things into your life. So you're spell crafting. And people say, when I did my candle video about birthday candles, people were saying, oh, everybody who blows out a candle and makes a wish is doing witchcraft. You see, you might not decide to call it witchcraft. You might decide to call it manifestation or the law of attraction. But as witches, we call it spell crafting. And sometimes we make elaborate spells, and we, sometimes when I'm doing, like when I did a spell for Samhain, I took a ritual cleansing bath first with some incense and a candle and some crystals and some bath salts. And I wore my ritual robe. I grounded. I set the I set the energy of the room by sweeping the air with my besom. I called in the quarters. I called in my gods and goddesses. I called in my ancestors. I lit the incense. I lit the candle. I cast my protective circle. I did the whole shebang, right? And I performed my spell. I used my candle, my herbs. I brought my book of shadows, which is another good idea. If you're going to do an elaborate spell, what I've learned to do with elaborate spells is take your book of shadows. My book of shadows is also my journal where I write how I feel. But if you want to use your journal and write down the steps to your spell, and bring that book, that beautiful book of shadows, to your witchy space when you're doing your elaborate spell, then you can just follow the steps in the spell from your book of shadows. So you don't have to remember all the steps. You just follow the steps that you wrote in your journal, your book of shadows. This is my journal, or my book of shadows. It's a beautiful book with a pentacle on it. So if I bring a piece of paper to my altar, that's fine. But I like to bring my beautiful book of shadows because it feels like it belongs in the witchy space. So, maybe people might not agree with me that, just like using affirmations is spell work, but doing a spell, you're using physical things, right? You're using your candles, your herbs, your athame, your chalice, whatever you got, but you don't have to have those things to create a spell. You just have to have intention. You just have to have something inside of you that's telling you to do this. When I put the blue piece of yarn under my mother's pillow, I didn't know how the spell was going to turn out, but I knew that I was doing something that I couldn't stop myself from doing. I was drawn, I was pulled to do this act. And I knew that somehow from this act, I would feel affirmed. And so I was practicing magic without even knowing it, before I even started calling myself a witch. This was maybe a year or two before I decided to actually become a pagan and follow my witch's path. So if you're a new witch and you want to do an elaborate spell, I Googled how to do a spell, like what were the steps, and I wrote it in my first book of shadows, and it was super elaborate and like now sometimes I'll do a spell where I'll be sitting at my altar and I have all my herbs, my spices, um, like in front of my altar, and I'll just be drawn, like, because doing spell crafting is also about using your intuition. So it's whatever you feel drawn to and following what you feel drawn to. So I'll be drawn to a certain spice and I'll pick it up and I'll turn it over and see what it's used for. And usually something that it's used for, I'll have a need for that day. Like if it's for love, let's say. Um, and so I have a mortar and pestle in front of my altar as well. So I'll hold the herb, let's say it's rosemary and let's say it's for love. I don't know if rosemary is for love, but let's say it's rosemary and it's for love. I'll hold the rosemary in my hands and I'll say, I want love in my life today. Love is in my life today. I am full of love. And I'll put it into my mortar and pestle and I'll grind up that rosemary clockwise to bring in the energy of love, right? If you don't know that you have to do it clockwise to bring it in, whatever way you do it is fine. But if you know how to do it, use what you know. So I'll grind it clockwise to bring energy in, because counterclockwise is usually to take energy out. So I'll bring it in with the clockwise stirring and I'll think, love, I am full of love. Love is mine. I'm all about love. Like I'll say all those affirmations as I'm grinding it up clockwise. And then I'll usually do a pentacle over it, a star with a circle around it. And then I'll sprinkle it on my candle and I'll let some of the herbs fall on the candle and burn, and some of them fall on the candle holder. And that will be a simple spell that took me like 5 minutes, 3 minutes to do. And I didn't have to, light the candles. I did light a candle, but I didn't have to call in the quarters, put my protective circle, ground myself, call in my gods. And I didn't have to do everything and then ring the bell to start the spell, and then ring the bell to end the spell. I didn't have to put on my robe, that I wear when I do special magic. I just did an everyday spell that took me 5 minutes. And so that's what I have to say about spellcrafting. I'm very grateful for the people's videos that I did watch, the Vovines, or Vioness, here on YouTube. I watched her video was really helpful, because she was talking about just do your witchcraft the way you feel like you want to do it. You don't have to practice it the way anyone else practices it. You can also follow the book if you don't know how to do it and you want to follow the book, you can do that. But if you feel like you want to do it your own way, witchcraft is about following your heart. Spellcrafting is about following your heart and doing it the way you would do it. That song, I did it my way, right? Like I did it my way. So do it your way. Do it the way that feels best to you. And don't let anybody tell you how to do your spellcrafting, because they don't know you. You know you, and you know what your intention is, and you know what you want out of the spell crafting. So just do it your way. And a lot of witches, feel like they want to incorporate more magic into their life. Like when I said spellcraft is just magic, it is magic, right? Spellcrafting is performing magic. So if you want more magic in your life, put some moon water in a bottle with some essential oils and spray that moon water on yourself, during the day to refresh yourself with the power of the moon. When I spray my moon water on me, I say, moon water empowering me, setting my soul and my spirit free, as magic is embodied in me. This is my will, and so it should be, and so it is. I'll put crystals in my bra, and those crystals, I'll have intentions with them, right? I'll be like, I'm taking this black obsidian with me today because I want to be protected. I'm protected. I'm taking this moss agate with me because I want to be connected to my body. I want to be connected to my physical self, because moss agate is from the earth, right? I'll take this amethyst with me because I want to be connected to the high priestess within myself, my intuition, my higher senses. Like, all that is magic. All that, doing those little things throughout the day doing those little things throughout my day affirms to me that I'm a witch, that I'm practicing magic. There's another girl on this channel, on this YouTube channel, on this YouTube platform, sorry. Her name is Farah Neela, and she takes her oracle card and she puts it under her glass of water so that the subject matter of the oracle card seeps into her water, and when she drinks that water, she drinks the energy of what she wants to manifest that was written on the oracle card. So that's magic, that's spellcrafting. And you know, people might think you're weird if you tell them that you do certain things like that, but you don't have to tell people that you do that if you don't want to. And if it makes you feel better to do those things, do them. You're not hurting anybody. So yeah, that's my super long rant about spellcrafting. Thank you to the people whose videos I did watch who kind of got my mind going in regards to spellcrafting. I'm really enjoying doing this challenge, and I'm really enjoying watching the other people who have joined in on this challenge. And I'll see you tomorrow for Neo-Pagan November, day 11. Bye.